Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Head Coach Ross of the ATACX Gym, Street Warrior, Njia Uhuru Capoeira. As those of you know who've been following me, Njia Uhuru is a Swahili term. It means the way of freedom. Capoeira is the correct Kikongo term for the African fighting system that was used famously by the Lamtuna and Gudala and many others whom were miscalled the Moors, not only to conquer all of Europe up to the middle of France and all of Southeast Asia, which is essentially, Southeast Asia is essentially Northeast Africa. Capoeira is also the fighting system that was mispronounced as Capoeira in 1712 by Rafael Bluto, as he was attempting to write in Portuguese his dictionary, his translation of Latin to Portuguese dictionary and vice versa. And that was the first documented time in which the word capoeira was used, so we know exactly where it came from. Don't believe the lies to the contrary. Okay, well, what is the second installment of this series, Capoeira Lies, Racism, and Sexism, about? Well, this one's going to focus more about on the folkloric aspects of it and the histories and regards and how it came about and how you're being lied to regarding every facet of that as well. Hey, how you doing, man? Okay, here's what it is. Okay, first of all of this dysfunctional hopping around garbage stuff that you see these cats doing in the raggedy roads, that's what I call the hole, that's raggedy road, came about in the early 20th century. It came about and was first popularized in Bahia in the early 20th century. Why? Well, that was a very, very, very clever and consistent and intelligent response by Africans who practiced the art of capoeira to the unfettered, extremely intense, and unmitigated ferocity and oppression and repression and violence visited upon them by the military and the police in order to exterminate all those who practiced the art of capoeira. Remember, simultaneously at this time we were looking at people like Antonio Silva and Lampiao and other individuals who were carrying out armed resistance to the military, and yes, they were capoeira warriors as well, and they were holding out armed resistance to the government, because the government of Brazil at that time, which was briefly called at one point in time the United States of Brazil, which a lot of people don't know, that government was extremely corrupt, extremely racist, and was seeking to find its own national character at that point in time. That's a separate discussion that's not really going to be delved into in this video. But it's very, very, very important that you understand that national backdrop, so you can understand that Brazil, being the last country in the Western Hemisphere to outlaw slavery and still being the most racist country in the Western Hemisphere, which is saying a hell of a whole lot, with the United States being in the Western Hemisphere as well, they of course would have an extreme amount of vitriol in their response and in their attempt to destroy and control capoeira warriors, which they failed at doing. Now, how does that impact the expression of the ridiculous folkloric stuff? Well, here's the reason why it was designed that way. So the reason why it came into existence is because the capoeira warriors wanted to practice their arts, but at the same time trick those guys into thinking that we weren't doing it. So we had two Duara, we had two Ayika. That's the term we actually use, by the way. Ayika or Duara. Ayika is Yoruba, it means environment. Duara is Swahili, it means circle. So the reason why we use Swahili is because we use the term Swahili a lot, the language Swahili a lot, is because Swahili is the most widespread indigenous language in Africa. Why Yoruba especially was impacting Brazil is because there were a lot of Yoruba warriors who came to Brazil as it was free and slave. And they are the ones who brought the worship of the Orisha, not only to Brazil, but to the Western Hemisphere. Okay, so it's extremely important, especially for my system in Njia Uhuru Capoeira, because the Orisha are the anchor of the techniques of so many of our techniques, almost all of our techniques, you can say. The animals fighting systems, the elemental fighting systems, the use of sacred mathematics, all that good stuff comes from the understanding and the knowledge and the application of the Orisha. And all of that was supposed to be practiced in the Ayika and the Duara. But we did it, we had, like I told you, we had two forms of the Ayika, two forms of Duara. The one is which we showed them. That was the folklore garbage that you're practicing now. We showed them this because it was very clearly not a self-defense type of thing. It's something that we do that was fun, something that we do that was cultural, something that was designed to allay their fears and concerns that we were actually practicing a warrior art. When they were gone, we practiced the real deal. We practiced the way I practice. All right? Now, we also found a way to integrate the combative practices with our music, which is also the way I practice, which is why we use the term duwara or aiga, not hoda, because we do the real deal skills. The music, the songs that we practice are supposed to reflect and teach and encourage the application of specific skill sets. All right, like what you call the Benguela, which really is a kingdom, really was a kingdom in the middle of in between Angola and Congo, and with Angola itself being part of the Empire of Congo. Angola actually was the kingdom of Indongo. That when you play that toke on the hongo, which you miscall bihimbao, that term bihimbao is also false and incorrect. That term bihimbao actually means Jew's heart. Look it up. Look it up. Google it. You see what I'm talking about. It has nothing to do with us. It is yet once again another lie perpetuated by the slavery. Anyway, oh, by the way, the bihimbao only came into prominence after they consistently and persistently applied so much persecution on the use of the real instrument that we use the most, which was first our bodies, our voices. That's what we used number one. That was more than anything else. Number two, we used the Congo drum. The drum we used was so constant that actually they started calling it the Congo. We didn't call it Congo, they did. All right. So, and we were able to communicate with each other using the beats and rhythms of the Congo the same way with the kind of intricacy and nuance that we can when we were speaking. That's why the Congo was called the talking drum. Anyway, the importance of the dysfunctional expression of the first part of the folkloric expression was designed actually to allay the fears of the slavers, so that, hey, you know what, to them it became apparent that we weren't practicing our war arts. They go away, we go practice our arts. Secondly, we found a way to integrate that, like I just said, with the music, and we would apply certain skill sets. Like we play the Benguela, for instance. That's close body-to-body contact. Not only is that for weapon skills and knife skills, it's also for grappling skills and close combat, from standing all the way down to the ground. And it also teaches you how to deal with multiple opponents in close proximity and close combat to you. It also teaches us how to practice and deal with it slowly at first, as we learn the skill sets with one limb or the other. Because sometimes we'll be chained. We'll have our arm behind our back like this, or we'll be chained, like have one hand down here. We'll be in chains, and we have to practice the skills that allows us to do that. That type of thing you also see in the art called shackle hand. Well, it translates in English as shackle hand, which some of the brothers have put onto YouTube. That skill set is practiced when you play the songs and the rhythms that are now called Benguela now. All right, but of course, your cardio capoeira masters don't know that. They don't know that. Then they don't practice it. Now watch a whole bunch of them live. Once you show them this video or mention anything in this video, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, we practice like that." Or when you students aren't around, we teachers, we practice. Like, no, you know the hell you don't. You don't. You didn't know, and you don't practice that way. And the only time you even heard about that is when I said it. And I can show you my videos where I've been doing that. If they've been practicing that way, they'd have the skills to be able to apply those skills right now, and they would have already told you this history. But they didn't know. They don't have the skills, and they're lying. That's the truth of the matter, okay? Hello, man. So now, the other important role that the folkloric aspects show, it's around the corner, man. That's where the door is. The other important role that the folkloric skills have, and it's important, and we need to know this history, is that it played, like I told you before, and I really want to emphasize this, because I've said this before a zillion times on posts on Facebook and in email responses and on my blog. You need to check my blog out, Capoeira That Works. It's on blog. Check that out. All right. It actually has an important training purpose, which none of the cardio capoeira heads know. Zero. They'll lie. Oh yes, you're practicing. No, shut the hell up. You're lying. It's not what it is. You don't know nothing, because if you did, you'd be showing these skills. I wouldn't be the only first one showing this. Now, for those of you who actually have open minds, questioning minds, who are logical and analytical and who are functional, here's the reason why this was done this way. Because the idea was to initiate teaching all skill set in a progressive, resistant manner. That means you start off with a skill set slow. If you wanted to learn how to have a knife defense, I won't take a live knife and come at you full speed. I know you don't know how to deal with that. Instead, I'll show you the technique I want you to show, and then I'll start with a slow attack. It'll be a realistic attack, because if you don't block it, you will get nicked. All right? We usually use a practice knife first, but it still sucks to get clocked with it. If you don't believe me, take a wood knife and get knocked on the noggin or the hand. It'll suck. It don't suck bad, but it'll let you know, ooh, I didn't do the block right. Okay? That's where it came from. You were supposed to move slow or what have you and do a realistic attack. Just move slow, giving your training partner the opportunity to block and return. Okay? And then as your training partner gets better, you would attack with more vigor, more energy, greater skill, greater cunning, more feints, etc., so on and so forth, until you progress to the point where you can actually go all out. And you and your training partner really have the skills to actually apply the skills you're trying to do, or you're practicing with, full speed, realistically. This is what cardio capoeira does not do. They stay in the dysfunctional, folkloric, garbage, unrealistic, non-self-defense expressions. That's what they do. That's what your mestres do. They turn on. If you show these videos right now, they'll turn around and say, "No, we don't." Yes, you do. If here's the proof. Tell them, okay, you know what? You get yourself a weapon. Tell them to do their cartwheels. The same cartwheels they're doing in class, cartwheel out of the way to the weapon. Matter of fact, give them a weapon. Tell them to cartwheel with the weapon, and utilize it. Utilize it. In a realistic, modern self-defense scenario. Do that. They can't do it. It's because they never trained in the real art. They never learned anything like they're telling you that they learned. They don't even know that there were skill games applied to each song. They don't know this stuff. Each song, each beat, each rhythm, each toke has its own comprehensive skill games. On top of that, each song, each rhythm, each toke, it has its own comprehensive skill games applied to each of the orisha. Oh, wait a minute. What? Orisha? Yeah, you cannot separate the art from the spiritual practices. You don't even know nothing about the orisha. In fact, you've been taught, again, via racism, that even bringing up the whole idea of orisha or what have you is somehow or other, anti whatever your religion or religious implications are. No, the hell it's not. It's like learning math or philosophy or say Zen. All right, you don't have to become a convert of Zen in order to learn Zen. You don't have to be a convert of mathematics in order to learn mathematics and appreciate, understand, and be a proponent of the benefits that you get from that discipline. But of course, most of your teachers don't know anything about the orisha, about our history, about our language, about our culture, about anything. This is another massive loss of skill and knowledge that the old people have been telling you about. The pretos velos have been telling you about forever. But because you've been miseducated, because you've been taught to embrace the philosophy, the mindset, the value systems of the people who hate you and who hate the art, you never learn the real art and the real skill unless you do what? Unless you hang with me. This is why you have to learn these things from me, not from the other people. They don't know. And the few who have uncovered information don't apply it in their self-defense skills. I'm the only one who does the full scope. I'm the only one, besides my students who I've taught, who does the full scope, which is why, another reason why it's so critical that you guys subscribe to my YouTube, that you share my videos, that you comment, that you go to my website, which is googlesites.com/ATACX Gym Street Warrior Capoeira, wherein you can purchase affordably priced ebooks and instructionals. I deliberately put the stuff around the price of your cell phone bill, so I know you can afford it. Okay? And I've deliberately put the stuff around the price of like your Netflix a monthly subscription, so I know you can afford it. It's critical that you acquire this information and we expand the student roles so that we can make certain that the art does not die, that you have it, that you learn it, and then you teach it. Okay? You teach your version of it. but be honest with where you got it from. All right, you got it from me, and you walk it all the way back to the motherland, to the Empire of Congo, and before there was even an empire in Congo, before there was even a region that we call Congo, there were still people there practicing this discipline. Okay, so I'm gonna wrap it up here. If you have any questions or comments, leave it at the end of this video. Okay, I'm looking forward to hearing more from you. You're doing very well here. Okay, be safe out there. ATACX Gym, Street Warrior, Injio Uhuru Kipura, your boy Head Coach Ross. Okay, asante sana, amani, ashe.